AEM 41-1101C and 41-1101P air intake systems are engineered to add horsepower and reduce restriction compared to OEM air intakes, and they come with a lifetime limited warranty. AEM intakes utilize a reusable dry flow air filter. These oil-free filters are durable and very easy to clean. AEM 41-1101C and 41-1101P air intakes fit 2010 Ford F-150 models with 5.4-liter engines and other vehicles as specified in the AEM catalog or on AEMintakes.com. These air intake systems are not legal for highway use in California or other states adopting California emission standards. Check AEMintakes.com for up-to-date information on emissions legality for specific parts on specific vehicles. AEM power testing showed an estimated power gain of 16 horsepower at 4,600 RPM with this air intake installed on a 2010 Ford F-150 with a 5.4-liter engine. Actual results will vary depending on the condition of the vehicle, mileage, weather, and other variables. Here's a comparison of the Ford truck sound on the dyno with the stock OEM system versus AEM's air intake system. AEM air intakes come with detailed instructions which include pictures and diagrams. AEM intakes are engineered for specific vehicles to produce a safe horsepower increase. Make sure vehicle is parked on a level surface. Set the parking brake. If engine is run in the past 2 hours, let it cool down. Disconnect the negative battery terminal. Do not discard stock components after removal of the factory system. Stock airbox system installed. Loosen the hose clamp connecting the inlet tube to the intake plenum. Disconnect the mass airflow sensor. Unclip the 2 clips securing the lid of the airbox to the airbox. Remove the airbox lid inlet tube assembly. Disconnect the PCV hose connected to the valve cover. Remove the 4 bolts securing the intake plenum to the intake manifold. Unclip the zip tie secured to the rear corner of the intake plenum near the firewall. Remove the intake plenum along with the attached PCV hose. Here's a view of the engine bay with the intake plenum and the PCV hose removed. Disconnect the overflow hose from the overflow tank. Pull the overflow hose out. Remove the 2 bolts securing the airbox and the overflow tank assembly. Remove the airbox and the overflow tank assembly. Remove the radiator bolt from the radiator support. When installing the intake system, do not completely tighten the hose clamps or mounting hardware until instructed to do so. Install the 90-degree coupler on the throttle body with the supplied number 56 hose clamp on the throttle body side and a number 64 hose clamp on the inlet pipe side. Install the 2 black heat shield mounts with the supplied M6 bolts and washers. Install the supplied grommet in the heat shield hole. Insert the male connector of the ETI module through the grommet. Attach the ETI module to the heat shield using the supplied bolts and nuts. Attach the supplied bracket to the heat shield with the supplied bolt, washer, and nut. Install the heat shield into the vehicle, aligning the heat shield mounts with the stock grommets. Install the aluminum spacer onto the radiator support where a bolt was previously removed in Step 2.0. Secure the heat shield tab to the spacer on the radiator support. Secure it in place with the supplied bolt and washer. Install the supplied bolt, securing the heat shield to the fender. Install the supplied washers, bolts, and nuts to secure the AEM overflow tank to the heat shield. Install the supplied bolt, washer, and nut on the other side of the AEM overflow tank. Insert the intake pipe through the heat shield inlet hole. Install the MAF sensor into the intake pipe and secure it with the supplied bolts. Align the bracket with the stud on the vehicle. Insert the intake pipe into the 90-degree coupler. Also secure the intake bracket to the stud with the supplied washer and nut. Connect the factory female connector to the ETI module. Connect the ETI female connector to the male connector on the extension harness. Connect the extension harness to the MAF sensor. Insert the 2 tree mount zip ties into the small cavities in the heat shield. Secure the extension harness to the heat shield with the tree mount zips. Tighten zip ties and trim excess plastic. Install the supplied grommet into the bracket's hole. Secure the supplied bracket to the heat shield with the provided hardware. Connect a supplied hose to the filter minder gauge. Route the hose through the grommet and install the filter minder gauge into the bracket that was installed in step 3U. Drill a 1/4 inch hole into the top of your filter and install the supplied 1/4 inch grommet into the filter cap. Insert the small 90-degree elbow into the grommet. Install the number 64 hose clamp around the air filter neck. Then insert the rubber filter adapter into the air filter inlet. Connect the small hose to the 90-degree elbow. Install the air filter onto the end of the intake pipe. Position the filter so that it is not in contact with any part of the vehicle. Then tighten the hose clamp so it is secured to the intake pipe. Remove the stock overflow hose. Install the supplied overflow hose onto the radiator. Route the overflow hose to the AEM overflow tank and install the hose clamp. Fill the AEM overflow tank with the coolant drained from the stock overflow tank. Position the inlet pipes for the best fitment. Be sure that the pipes and any other components do not contact any part of the vehicle. Tighten the rubber mount, all bolts, and hose clamps. Check for proper hood clearance. Readjust pipes if necessary and retighten them. Inspect the engine bay for any loose tools and check that all fasteners that were moved or removed are properly tightened. Reconnect the negative battery terminal and start the engine. Let the vehicle idle for 3 minutes. Perform a final inspection before driving the vehicle. It will be necessary to check AEM air intakes periodically for realignment, clearance, and tightening of all connections. Failure to follow the above instructions or proper maintenance may void warranty. Go to AEMintakes.com to find products, download installation instructions, view dyno charts showing estimated horsepower gains, and for other product details.